Hello and welcome to my home. Welcome to my house. This is my house. This is my car that I live out of and that I broadcast live on YouTube every night. You can join me. You can type in your phone, you can type on your laptop, and you can write a comment in a live chat box and I'll read it. You could tell me, Sam, I love your inspirational posts. They keep me going in life. Or you could say, Sam, I'm a wild MILF and I'm looking for a young stud to give me my groove back. Remember, Stella got a groove back, but I don't want to date. But I appreciate all the love, and it's good to laugh. Somebody asked me the other day, how do you deal with the pain of life if you can't walk? Because I often say that walking and movement, if you're physically able, that helps you to inspire yourself, get your blood flowing, get your going. If you can't do that, try to find some things make you laugh, get you excited. Not easy. But love and respect. Live chat. Patience is the key. What's up, brother? Good to see you, Luke. A hand pump emoji and like New Year's Eve celebration emoji. Good job. Patience is the key. Patience says he ended his toxic relationship. Well, congratulations. And like Seinfeld said, the first breakup never sticks. Usually got to go through two or three breakups. You got to be totally devastated, totally broke emotionally, and then when you have no other choice, you're going to get the hell out of there. Now, I hope you don't have to go through several breakups. I hope you get it the first time. But if you have to go through several times, I understand. I've been through breakups, I've been through separations, and they're very painful. And I don't wish them on anyone. And I've certainly failed and embarrassed myself and looked stupid. And so, man, I really was like, I was out there. I embarrassed myself. It's all part of life. You're not alone. But I hope that you are able to end that toxic relationship, whether it's with a lover, family member, whoever, because obviously you to heal, you have to separate yourself from whatever's causing you pain. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's gambling, whether it's a drug, whether it's food, whatever's hurting you, I believe there's no magic answer. The magic answer is separation. Heal, and then, go from there. Good job. We keep you in our prayers. Uh, Deb, hey Sammy, hey Deb, how are you? Hand wave emoji to you, and the real thing coming to you, broadcasting live from the magical Florida, where there are palm trees and still people in bikinis at the end of November. That's what I like. Patience says, "Got you. You know I always appreciate you, my man. Well, I appreciate you right back. The love is mutual, and a healthy relationship is mutual love and respect and attention. A healthy relationship is mutual attention. A healthy relationship is not you just sent a 3 bullet point text to a person. They took 2 hours to respond and they responded with K. Just the letter K. You just poured your heart out about what's going on, what you feel, describing your emotions, describing what you need out of this relationship, and all you got back was a K. It's time to hit exit. Okay, it's over. Not easy, painful. So we're just laughing a little bit here, but I've been there and I've embarrassed myself. We got to go forward though. Good job. Bland Boone in the house. Boone, North Carolina. That is Blanton and Tom Hanks doing big things in Boone, North Carolina. Very proud of those guys doing a good job. Going to be young leaders, and they're going to make. You're going to do good in this world. Blanton and Tom Hanks. This is what I tell you. Don't have kids. Don't have pets until you're in your late 20s, and don't take on a lot of debt. If you do that, you're going to have the world by the balls. Try your best, but even if you don't do that, I still got love for you. Love and respect. Woohoo, says Sam. I'm putting reflectives on his transit right now as we speak, all right? On the car interior side, I'm sewing fabric to make it a lot cooler. Well, good job. I'm very excited and happy for you. I share in your happiness, brother. Woohoo is getting ready to leave the Michigan area, Detroit, Michigan area, and travel to San Diego to try to live his dream and see if he can reposition his life where he's happy and inspired. Do I think he should do that? Yeah, I do. He's planning, he's researching, he's took his time, he's going to do it responsibly, and I want the best for him. And thank you for sharing. Keep me posted on your journey. AJ, that's my guy, AJ, full-time living in his Toyota Prius down in Miami Beach, taking girls to the bagel shop. He took a Brazilian girl to the kosher bagel shop over the weekend to Boca Raton. Now, did I bump into AJ? Because I was down in Boca too. I didn't bump into AJ, but I bump into a couple Brazilian girls, a couple other girls. And what I can tell you is very magical. Okay, look at this again. Come on, guys. Look at the window here. You don't see that in Detroit, Michigan. Okay, you see those palm trees? Exhibit A. Exhibit 2, my smile. Good job. Let me drink some water too. AJ, good job. I hope you're doing good with the stocks. And even if you totally bomb out, you're going to be okay, brother, because you're a smart guy and you got to. And if you get rich, give me $1 million super chat, all right? But only if you get rich. I don't want you to give me a super chat if you're in debt. Tom Hanks. Boom strong. Tom, it is. Tom, shout out to Tom's got the profile. Shout out to Tom and Boone, all right? Big out there. North Carolina representing very well. Good job. Ooh, California on fire. Yeah, I saw that. And it's getting worse. Yeah, now look, that's been happening for decades. Just like, red tide's been happening for decades, but just like red tide, it's get worse sometimes. I think it's like the worst in history. But it has a recurring thing because of the atmosphere and the nature and the environment of that not demographic, but that geographic area. It's prone to fires because of the low humidity, the terrain, and various and some man-made factors. But there's natural man-made factors, and the combination of both of them, it's a cycle of what it is. But it's a balance. But my heart goes out to those people. I don't want to see anyone suffering in this world, whether it's financially, emotionally, physically, anyway. So I pray they can get it together, and I pray for everyone who's going through a heartache, and I don't like to see that. Tom, got me some skinny popcorn. I hope you got the salt and pepper type, okay? Because what I'm telling you is I'm a little pissed at Publix. The one I've been going to past couple days didn't have the salt and pepper. Look, guys, look, come on. This is the type you need. Salt and pepper skinny pop. Very magical, okay? What they only had at Publix the past 2 days, the regular. The regular is not as magical, okay? The regular is like being in Jacksonville. You're in Florida, that's a win. But South Florida, that's salt and pepper, all right? Big difference, guys. Big difference, all right? Good job. All right? We're going to get into the structure topic. Don't worry. And you said, you recommended, got the butter flavor. All right, just broke that down. Couldn't find the salt and pepper. That salt and pepper's hot out there, man. That's like finding a hot Brazilian girl, after she's 28. Not easy to find, all right? Not easy, all right? Well, good job. Reserved. Have you ever taken personality tests? What were your results? I don't know. It's a good question. I remember some girl I was talking to. She was a friend in high school. She had took like a psychiatry class, or I don't know if it was psychiatry, but some type of like exploring the human mind. Maybe she was in college at the time. But it was basically like, testing my temperament. Like, what type of person am I? And I remember like I was a very loving person. I don't know what category it was. And I know like a guy I was very religious. He had like sanguine. Like sanguine is a personality if you're like very loving, and there's a whole skew, a whole breakdown to it. So, I'm a lover. Like I remember she asked like I was prone to like hug people a lot and like be positive. I don't think I was a sanguine. I don't know what I was. I'm a little bit of Tupac, Jesus, Martin Luther King, and Trump. A little bit. I got a little bit of everything. Okay, but at the end of the day, I just got love for everybody. Good job, Luke. Brother went thrift store hunting again today. Found this really cool Pac-Man that you connect to on your TV. And Pac-Man game's selling for $10 at the Goodwill. If it retails for $50. Luke, you got that flip in you, brother. I'm not mad at you. I hope you continue to do successful stuff. Glenn O. Greetings from ice cold Fort Worth, Texas. Shout out to the Lone Star State. Also another state that doesn't have state income tax. And I got love for everyone down up in Texas. Well, not up, but for me, sideways, west of me, to Texas. Sorry, it's cold. Yeah, I heard it's going to get down to 20s, but then I think it's supposed to get back up to the 70s. What was it today in Florida, South Florida? About 85 degrees and sunny. Right now it's probably about 72 degrees. Nice ocean breeze. Very magical. I have no underwear on, and I'm totally comfortable. Good job. Blanton. Me and Mom have all caps, zero debt. That's what I'm talking about so far, and we're making it stay like that. That 0 pets unless my girlfriend counts. Oh, that definitely counts. You're better off with a pet. Get rid of the girlfriend. Colton needs to get him some 40-year-old MILF. Oh, no, Colton ain't ready for that. Colton, a 40-year-old MILF to destroy your life right now, brother. You gotta get a job, and you gotta get away from You got to figure, you don't want to mess with the 40-year-old MILF yet. You're not ready for that. But don't mess with the 32-year-old girl who's thinking about either freezing her eggs or letting Blanton have a wild night, but then you regret it the rest of your life. What I can tell you is thank God for your parents then to help you out with college. And remember that you're blessed. A lot of people didn't have that, but you should not feel guilty for that. But just remember, like, a lot of times people get older and they get very conservative, but they forget that their parents helped them a lot and they bailed them out of a lot of circumstances. And then they say, well, if you want to make it in this world, then you just got to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But the fact is, your parents probably helped you get a car. Your parents probably helped you get a job. They probably helped you in college. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you shouldn't feel guilty. But you have to remember, as part of society, not everyone was like Trump. Not everyone got a $60 million loan from their father that they never paid back. And now they're a billionaire, guy who says, fuck the forest fires. It's the bad management. It's not that. It's just that, people living paycheck to paycheck out there. All right. Good job. Luke, I created a tank top with one of the sayings on it. Gonna send a pic of it in the inbox on Instagram. Turned out cool. All right, now I get nervous. Let me make a disclaimer here. I get very nervous when I get direct messages on my Instagram. Okay, my Instagram is the word inspire, the symbol underscore the number 38. Inspire underscore 38. I get nervous because sometimes I figure, somebody may send me like a X-rated pic. A couple times I had to like turn my eye. I can't guarantee I will look at every direct message because I get nervous. And I don't know if somebody's sending me a virus or somebody sending me like a topless pic or a dick pic. Who knows? I get scared. So sometimes I say, well, I don't know if I want to look at it. But I may look at it. So hit me up. Good job. Deb, Pennsylvania here. PA's in the house. Good job. Tom, any recommendations on stopping one's gas? Yeah, plant-based diet. Now stop eating that spicy Mexican food or that Chinese food at night, watching my replay. Oh, praise the Lord. Now I got stripped. Daddy Geek. No, Daddy Geek. No, I can't strip a Daddy Geek. Love to you, brother. Love and respect. Thank you very much. That's generous. And I appreciate that. Thank you. It's hard, man. I don't want to like seem like I'm pandering. Thank you. All I can say is thank you, Daddy Geek. It's all love and respect. And I appreciate that very much. And I hope that you're doing good at your job and everything's going well. Thank you. Like I said, look, I lost 200 pounds. I sustained it all for 4 years. And what I can tell you is the magic answer is a plant-based diet and walking every hour. Same thing with like that eliminated my gas. It eliminated my bowel movements at night. Like at night, I only do number 2 waist, like twice a day. And that's usually between 8 a.m. to noon. Your body is a system. It's made up of a respiratory system, a digestive system, cardiovascular system. Your body is like a machine. I remember Ultimate Warrior saying that. And the machine operates properly when you feed it overall natural things that it's easy to digest. When your body can't digest things, it backs up and it's just like it pollutes itself. So if you feed your body toxins, then it pollutes itself and then you get like toxic gas. And then the next thing you know, you got red tide going on in your pants, and that's not good. And you got forest fires also in your underwear. And the next thing you know, you're watching me live in a dookie stain nightmare. And I don't want that for you. I want you to live commando. I do believe that's number 1. And number 2 is plant-based diet. All jokes aside, plant-based diet as best you can. So someone said to me once, well, I don't want to give up all my meat. I don't want to give up all my dairy products. And I tell them this, have an aim, have a goal, shoot for the moon, even if you miss your amongst the stars. So if you have a goal to be a vegetarian, but 10% of the time you backslide and you're at the fried chicken spot or the Chinese spot, if you're only there 10% of the time and you used to be there 100% of the time, you just made 90% progress. And that's a blessing. And that's the value of a goal, is that, again, you have an aim, you have a focus, and that it sucks when you have a goal and you fail, which I've done, and then you get totally discouraged in life because then you say, well, what the hell is the point of a goal? But what I can tell you in my life, I've made more progress having goals than not. It's very painful when you fail, and most goals are going to require failure, but it requires constantly getting up. And that's kind of what I titled the feed tonight, Do It Alone. Most of your goals are going to be centered around you having to do the work of your life alone. And you traveling alone, You learning to go to the movies and go out to dinner alone. What keeps people in a toxic relationship? They're scared to go out to dinner alone. They're scared to jump in their car and go on a 3-hour road trip alone. Doing certain things alone is going to help you grow and mature and give you the quality time with yourself to develop yourself so that you can be in a healthy space in life. There's certainly a need for community. There's certainly a need for others. And as I get older, I see that need. I see that need to connect and to share and to build with like-minded, positive people. But what I'm here to tell you is there's part of the journey that you have to walk alone. And the reason you have to walk alone, it's because that's the road of self-development. Like my sister, one of my sisters, didn't really work most of her life, and she had to do a couple things, and my mom was an enabler. And I told my mom, look, let her do certain things on her own, not because I want to see her stumble, but because that's how she'll gain her confidence. And over the past couple, over the year or so, she's done a couple things on her own. And I'm happy for her. I mean, I don't have much contact with her, but I'm happy when I hear that. There's still a lot of problems, but I know the small steps of doing things alone builds up your confidence and your self-worth, because what you're going to realize in this life, if you get old enough, there's certain things you have to do alone. The first day on a job is scary as hell, but guess what? You can't bring your friends and family member and your dog. Even though I would have loved to bring my dog to work, you can't. You have to do certain things alone. And that's part of the journey. I don't want to mind F that, but that's kind of, I just wanted to squeeze the structured topic in, and now we just go back to live comments. William, Detroit in the house. Detroit, love the channel. I appreciate that. Love and respect to Detroit. I know it's cold up there, but I got love for everyone. And I mean, that is the beautiful part about YouTube, about social media. I mean, we got people from all over the world and all over the United States. And to me, that's magical. Woohoo. Does Publix have fresh sandwiches? Yes, they do. I did a video from Publix over the weekend, and I showed the deli and the sandwich making part, and they have people that work there all the time making. I get a vegetarian sub a lot of times. When I went in there today, there was actually a hiring desk. As soon as you walk in, they're hiring for seasonal workers. As I make this video, it's November 2018, so right, like in the beginning of November, right before Christmas, they start to hire seasonal workers. In Florida, the prime season is like December through April. That's when all the snowbirds, people who have houses up north, they come down. A lot of Canadians down here now too. I've seen a lot of Canadians. There was a guy in front of me today I checked into a campsite, and like a lot of Canadians speak French. So he was speaking like to the ranger, and he was like registering, and he was like, can I swim in the river? And he was like, do I have to be scared of alligators? He was like, well, you can swim there if you want. If alligator comes up to you, you're on your own. Like, that's what you don't understand about Florida. Like, there's lizards, there's like all types of wild ass animals that come out of nowhere. And like at least for me, like growing up in an urban area, like you think like you're at a zoo, like shouldn't somebody be like taking care of that wild animal? No, you're out. You don't call like people up if you see a wild animal. You're in the wild. It's the tropical climate, and so it's just a different environment. I like it. Luke at AJ Sawyer Hunt. Hey Nomad, what's up, brother? Good to have you. First of all, love and respect. Saying back to you, thank you. But please tell Tom to stop being so gassy. He's thinking up the apartment. Well, love and respect to Tom, I'm not mad at that. That's why I say, look, live in your car. Don't have a roommate. If I had a choice between living in my car or renting a room, I would live in my car. I mean, that's what I do now, and I could have a house. So you're asking the wrong guy. But in my opinion, partnerships don't work out. Now, you guys are in a short-term partnership, but what's going to happen is best friends become strangers. So eventually, you may hate Tom. And then 10 years later, you're going to see him in public somewhere, and you're going to act like you love Tom, but you're going to think about that one time, like towards the end of your college career, that he did some shiesty to you, or vice versa, and you got a bitter root. Let it go. Forgive Tom for being gassy. And remember, life is short, and in 5 years, you're probably not even going to see Tom most of the time, and you're both going to be doing separate lives. So enjoy this time of your life. Be very thankful. And 5 years from now, you guys will both have families. You'll be on a different journey in life. And you'll be watching me on YouTube. I'll probably still be in Florida. Good job. Daddy Geek. Hey, Sam. Hope you're doing well. Love and respect. Thank you, Daddy Geek. Very generous of you. And I thank you, and I sincerely mean that. I hope everything's going well. Thank you, Daddy Geek. Zeus. What's up, Zeus? What's up, man? Brandon. Why do I always get angry or just looked down upon when people patronize me? I wanted to hear your opinion on that. Thanks. All right. Why do I always patronize? All right, I got the answer. Just like when I say with my sister, what I learned. When people talk to you like a baby, you get angry because it's like they're talking down to you. Okay. So sometimes I would hear my mom talking to my mother and she would talk to her like a baby. I said, Mom, look, even if she's irresponsible, the worst thing you can do is talk to her like a baby. Don't talk down to her. Because even people who you don't think are intelligent, even people who you think are lazy, they get it. Their battle is with themselves. So the last thing they need is someone talking to them like they don't get it. Make a mental note. People who you think are not intelligent, they're very intelligent. They may not be like mathematical equation, NASA intelligence, but they get the basics of life. And when you talk down, when you talk like babyish or down to someone like they don't understand, they get upset. Now, they may not understand, again, the formula of it, but they understand the general concept. People are smarter than you think, even the dumb people. Now, I don't want to say, you know what I mean. So what I've learned to do is when I'm talking to somebody, I try to break things down to the basics because I never try to assume someone knows, but I never try to talk to someone as if like they're oblivious to the world. Because what I've learned in life is most people get it from a general standpoint. And so when you speak to a person like a man or like a woman, they tend to act more like a man or a woman. Now, you're always going to have, again, the 10% a-holes in life that no matter how you talk to them, they're going to always be a problem. So, but that's kind of like how I would answer that. Thank you. Zelda. Hey, Sam. Good weather in Florida. It's magical. Smiley face. Thank you. Here in PA, not bad yet, but it's coming. Good seeing you again. Have a great weekend. Peace, heart, prayers, and all that. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Luke, no, remember when I told you how you should make tank tops with the saying on them, t-shirts, and put on your sayings, and I will send it to you. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's wild, man. You never know. I remember when I did like a ministry thing for a while, we made up some shirts, like spray painted shirts. I forgot what they said, but like inspirational stuff. Bland, laughing. Bro, this chat has me rolling. Good. It's good to laugh. Look, laughter is good. And overall, that's how you get through life. Laughter and walking. Good job. Luke, nothing to be nervous about, my man. That's right. Luke, gave a little tongue out, and I'm mad at that. Gleno, when donating money, don't YouTube take a big chunk? They take a certain percentage, but it's like everything in life. It's like the cost of doing business. So it's still an overall blessing, and it's still worth it. Obviously, because it's not. Look, my goal would be to make YouTube a sustainable source of income. I work a full-time job. I have always for 22 years. So it's like they say, the cost of doing business. Like, when I would hang a ceiling fan, when I had electrical contracting business, getting the tools and all the other things. Like if I charged $125 to hang a ceiling fan, I didn't make $125. I may have made $75 because 30 or 40% of that was materials, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like any business, or it's like any transaction. So it's still worth it. And again, I don't want anyone to feel obligated. I don't want anyone to feel manipulated. I thank any extra. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's no manipulation. There's no pressure. It's not like, you have to give me 10% or something like that. Like I thank Daddy Geek. I thank DNT Window the other day, DNT Professional Window Candles. I appreciate the love. And it's love no matter if you just stay and you just watch and you just leave a thing. It's love, and you're blessed either way. And I appreciate all love. Zakia, hey Sam, looks like I joined the chat a weird time. You're talking about stripping and popping. Well, yeah, look, when it starts raining, you got to get on your job. You know what I mean? And, but let me tell you something. Like, that's what we were just talking about, money and how it transacts and like how it can get bad. I've had more mutual respect for strippers sometimes than certain pastors or politicians, because believe me, politicians and pastors, they take money. So do strippers. Everyone takes money. You understand what I'm saying? It's all part of life. Is there something evil in that? No. If As long as you're not manipulating someone. So to me, like all the relationships I had with strippers, it was like, look, I know it's your business. I know it's your time. I'm gonna compensate you. I know you're doing a job. And this and this and that. And I always vibe with them. For me, the resentment always came up when someone was like, saying like guilt tripping you into giving money, and then commandment from God, or whether it was like part of your civic duty, and then taking that money. And I mean, I still gave. Look, there was plenty of times in the church where I gave 10%. There's times where I give to people on YouTube. There's times when I give to people on the street. So I still give, but I don't give reluctantly, and I don't give under pressure, and I don't have a certain percentage. I go by the flow, by the feel. And so I give, I receive, and like I said, so money and money transactions, they are odd. And they do bring a different dynamic to the table. I mean, I've debated that in my mind through different times and you have to be careful when you involve money and everything. But what I've come to the conclusion is, look, if you're being honest and if you're being yourself, it was the same way, like for a while for electrical contracting. Like I couldn't build up enough courage to like make it a business. I would feel like a neighbor would ask me to do something and I would just do it, and I wouldn't like charge. And I would get to a certain point where I was like, look, Sam, this is your business. And I remember, like, I used to do free work sometimes. I remember somebody pulled me aside and said, Sam, look, if you feel like you want to do something free for somebody, you should do it. But at the same time, look, if you're doing an honest service and you're asking an honest price, don't feel embarrassed about that. You're not manipulating someone to get money out of them. So, it's all like part of life that I'm addressing, and that's what I've learned. Josh, garbage in, garbage out. Well, that's true. What we feed our minds, what we feed our bodies. Well, what I could tell you is what finally, after when you start on your health journey, you're going to do good, but then on the weekends you may backslide. You may do good for a couple months and then you may backslide and start eating some, I used to, be tempted with fried chicken. But what happens is, the thing that mentally pushed me over the edge to keep going forward was the minute after I ate fried chicken or General Tso's chicken, my body would shut down and I started to feel horrible. So you get a spike of joy and then you crash. I mean, now after I eat a plant-based diet, after I eat a vegetarian sub, even with skinny popcorn, I feel alive. I mean, I don't feel like sluggish. I don't feel depressed. And that's what I've found too, is that bad food also plays a part not only in your physical well-being, but in your mental well-being. But I had to do that journey alone. My family basically came from obesity. My aunt died of obesity. My mom has diabetes. And so I really had to walk that journey of getting my health together kind of on my own. My father was into health and stuff, but he was like a different, I didn't spend much time with him on that. And so I had to research nutrition. I had to go visit my mom and then like get in an argument, say, look, I'm not going to eat this. I have to be alone. I can't sit with you at the table. It's too tempting and you're putting too much in front of me. And that was tough because as a mother, she would express her love through feeding me. And sometimes I would feel bad by getting upset, but that's what I had to do. And I thank God that eventually we matured and now we kind of like laugh at it. And, I let her eat. I don't judge her for eating whatever she wants to eat. And I just do my thing. And that's a healthy relationship. Like I accept my mom for who she is and I don't want to change her. And she accepts me for who I am and she don't want to change me. Like sometimes people say to me, like saying my spouse is overweight, how do I get them in shape? You accept the person you're with and you don't try to change them. And you only change yourself. You do that alone. And if they're going to change them, they're going to do that alone. Now, if you can inspire them, that's fine, but you can't put any expectation or demand on them. That's what I've learned in life. And that's true. And amen. Luke, Dookie Stain, nightmare. Yeah, you gotta go commando. Dookie Stain, change your life for the worse. Zakia, I was trying to watch this in download at work, but I laughed. Good, it's good to laugh. That's all right. You're ready. You're gonna get in your van. You're getting out of there anyway. Now everyone knows I'm watching something in the cubicle. That's all right. They're watching too. They just ain't watching. They're probably watching Bob Wells with the 10 Commandments of camping. They're not watching me. Big difference, all right? Bob Wells puts you to sleep. Me, I get you laughing. Good job. We love Bob though. Ooh, Sam. I'm going to send you a pic of my transit on my door. All right. I can't guarantee I'm going to open up that pic because I get a little nervous, but I probably will. And I'm happy for you. Well, all seriously, I know you're excited. I also know you're scared and nervous. Woohoo is getting ready to do it alone. He's going to drive from Detroit, Michigan to San Diego, California. It's exciting but scary. Every time I drove 45 minutes away from my house, I would get scared. And there were some times I actually got like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So I'm not going to go any further, and I turned back. So being scared is part of the journey, because you're going to leave your family members behind. You're going to leave your friends. Sometimes the hardest part in the beginning for me, making trips down to Florida and doing different things, was even though I wanted to do it, I was leaving my mom behind. I was leaving my friends, my coworkers, and like I'm out here alone. I love them, but you have to walk your destiny, a certain part of it, alone. God is always with you. God lives inside you. As long as you ain't eating greasy ass food, then you got gas inside you, but God's still there. What I can tell you is, you know what I'm saying. All right, I'm not going to mind fuck it. You got it. All right, Luke, funny stuff tonight. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Leno, I'm going to see a movie alone on Thanksgiving. Good job. But nobody wants to see Creed 2 with me. Oh, well, I'm going. I ain't mad at that. Good job. That's going to change your life for the better. And you're better off that than somebody you meet on Match.com. Luke, how do you deal with not having close relationships with certain family members and just knowing in the back of your mind that they are family, but you're not close with them? Well, I got over that a long time ago, because as I got mature, I realized that family don't mean much. The hard part was, well, how I also got over it was when I was in my 20s, I tried to make amends with everyone, and I really tried to like get along with everyone, all my family members. But what I realized is, after 10 years of trying to get along with people and bending over backwards and like letting some comments just go in one ear and out the other, they never change. They are who they are. And at 30 something years old, I had two options: either accept who they are and take everything they're saying in, and you can't try to change them, or after you've tried to give them grace, if it's still hurting you and it's still not healthy for you, then you have the right as an adult to cut off anyone. I'm not saying that, and so I just said to myself, look, it's not fair to me. They helped me. My certain family members, my father and different people, they helped me, but I don't owe anyone my soul. Like, DNT, Professional Windows Cleaners, he asked me that question, and Sam, when did you start sticking up for yourself? And what came to mind, when I was 13 years old, I was trying to impress the older kids. And I kept trying to do things like to fit in with them. And then I got to a certain point where it was like, no matter what I was do, it was never good enough for them. So then like I'm paraphrasing, but in some terms, I basically said, well, if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. And that's when they actually started respecting me and you know what I mean? At a certain point, you have to say, look, if this ain't healthy for me, I'm never going to make them happy. They are who they are. You either accept that or you walk alone. And sometimes I had to walk alone. I'm not saying you should cut off family members or friends necessarily. I'm not saying be me. But I'm saying to be you, part of that journey is discerning that and then deciding for you. Good job. Luke, close. I got it. Free to be me. Peace to you, Sam. Peace to you also. That was my favorite part of the Catholic Church. But I know different people, even some of my Muslim people who watch, they say Allah blessings to you. Same thing. So Buddha, Muslim, Judaism, Jewish faith, atheist, peace be with you is a blessing. And for me, I say shalom. Nomad, PayPal's better. Yeah, some people have said that. I haven't got to the point yet where I'm at with that. But thank you, Z Nomad. Bland. Thanks on actual steps to decrease mass shootings. Mental health, question mark. Gun reform, question mark. Both, question mark. What do we do? Well, if you look at the statistics, that 90% of the mass shootings in America in the past decade all were related to mental health issues, but they were all already seeing a psychiatrist and in many cases already on prescription drugs for their mental problems. So, in my opinion, the first step is anyone who has been diagnosed with severe mental problems and that is taking prescription drugs that alter their mind. There are most of those prescription drugs say that the side effects is violence and suicidal thoughts. Their gun license is immediately revoked. Start there. That's step one. Okay. If you have been clinically diagnosed as depressed or some type of psychological thing, you're not, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has different issues, but you shouldn't have a gun. And then step two is the high caliber accessories to guns have to be regulated better. Whether it's not being able to sell them at trade shows, because that's where a lot of gun shows, that's where a lot of them get distributed, and then they cross state lines because each state has different gun laws. So a gun that's sold down south may eventually make its way to a different place. But I would say just first two steps would be, I think that everyone can agree that if you've been clinically diagnosed with a mental disorder and you're on prescription drugs for that disorder, there's nothing wrong with that, but you should not have a legal guns license. The second step is some of these high capacity gun accessories that make these guns not self-defense mechanism, but they make them military grade arsenal. We need to regulate them better. Because if you're worrying about the government, if you're worrying about you being able to protect yourself from a tyrant government, the government has nuclear weapons. So I don't care if you have an AR-15 with a high-capacity magazine for 20 days. The U.S. government has nuclear weapons. And if they want you gone, you're gone. Okay? Forget about like you defending yourself against the government. That's a whole sham. Okay? So those two things: revoke gun license for those who are mentally disabled or have an issue. And two is get rid of, better regulate the high capacity accessories to guns. And that's a start. You are never going to eliminate all shootings. You are never going to, and that's part of life. But I think you will somewhat decrease them with those steps. And those are common sense, basic principles that I believe are fair. Let me take a hydration break for that. Love and respect. T-Mock, I love being alone because I love myself. That's a good point. You love your own company. That's good. I crave alone time since I don't get it often. That's good. Great to see you smile and say thank you. Today was a good day. I feel healed a little bit. But again, some days you feel good, some days you feel bad. So it's all part of life. But I'm thankful. You take the good days when you can take them. Take the good days when you can take them. Apathy. Always good to see you, Sam. Same to you. Excuse me. Peace and love. Hey, I game in. Shout out to my fellow Canadian. Give me a smile face emoji. Good job. I see. Good question, Luke. Yep. Luke. Thanks, I see. Luke. Amen, Sam. I can totally agree with you because for myself, I've tried so hard as well to fit in with my family and to censor myself just so I can appreciate them, and it's sad. Now, I understand. I remember you saying that for a while now. I remember when the hurricane was hitting North Carolina, and you had to stay at your mom, and you said that you felt self-conscious about being there because like you did feel good energy. Look, now you're an adult, and so what I could tell you is work, live below your means, and get the hell out of there. And the more separation you bring, you actually probably have a little bit of better relationship with your mom if you still want to have one. So there is that saying that familiarity, being around someone all the time, being familiar with it, will bring contentment. Not content, but contentment. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It basically means like when you're around someone all the time, that can bring discord. That can bring not liking someone. But absence makes the heart grow fonder. When you're away from someone, you have boundaries, and when you have space, and when you're doing your own thing alone, then once in a while when you connect, you can put up with their crap because, it's just it's like for a day or for like a couple hours. And then you're going back to doing your own life for yourself alone. But when you're not doing your own thing for your own, like why does my sister sometimes get mad at my mom? Because she's not living her own life for herself alone. She's she's living with my mom. She blames my mom, but it's just self-hatred that's overflowing to someone else. But most times when you hate yourself, it's that you're not doing your thing for yourself. Certainly life's going to beat you up even when you do things by yourself. I mean, I get beat up. But we go forward step by step, day by day, and we got to have boundaries, and we got to walk a level of this alone. Good job, Luke. So I decided that it's not healthy for me to be in the presence, because in the end of the day, they never really celebrated me or really went out of their way to care for me all my life. I hear you. I mean, only you know your circumstance. But Luke, I think that healing is going to come as you start to build your life, and that you just walk your own path, and you will figure out a balance to how much and how little you want to see them. But just focus on walking your path. I know it's not easy. 504 boy. Have a great night. Thank you. Same to you. AI gaming. Australia used to have mass shootings and lots of guns. Now they don't have either. It's simple. America has effed up itself with their gun love. No, look, I mean, there's definitely an issue. We have easier access to guns and cheaper than we do healthcare. In America, we have easier and cheaper access to guns that kill people than we do healthcare that saves people. And that's sad. But that's a capitalist society. A capitalist society is based on a country that operates solely for profit for companies. And so Social Security is socialism. Medicare is socialism. You need a level of socialism and a level of capitalism. You need a balance. Society struggles with balance. And so when anything in life is out of balance, you have tragedy. But balance is very tough because we're all individuals and we all have our own balance. Living in a car, for me at this time in my life, is balance. For some people, it'd be way balance. So in America, we try to give as much freedom as possible so that we can all be ourselves, but we are not free. We are controlled by the corporations, by the lobbyists, and that's fact. So we're pumped that we're free, but really it's the corporations who are the freest because they are controlling the laws and the regulations of the land. And the big money, the people who are getting appointed to be judges for a lifetime, that's a disgrace. They are dictating and interpreting law. And so you got to be careful. There's a reason why corporations pay millions of dollars to lobbyists to sit with politicians, to have a seat at the table. They want laws written in their favor. Okay? And so most gun manufacturers are publicly traded companies for profit. Okay? So, and, you know, I am for the Second Amendment right. I am for self-defense, but I am not for people with mental issues to have legal guns, and I'm not for high-capacity army, military weaponry on civilian streets. Okay, I'm not for that. And I think we start right there, and then we got to step forward. Nothing will ever be perfect, Luke. I'm sorry, Zacchaeus. Your plan would work in most states. But here in Alaska or Vermont, I've been to Vermont, not to Alaska, there is no gun license to revoke. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you for informing me of that. If you are not a felon, you can have a gun. That's interesting, good information. Over 21, you automatically can conceal a carry. Great information. I didn't know that. Now, I've been to Vermont, so what I can tell you is I can understand why. It's like totally remote mountain land, most of the places, so you're not going to have an issue. See, the problem is that there was a movie back in the 90s called Strapped, and that was what it was about. It was that people would go to out-of-state gun shows, and they would go to states that had very liberal gun laws, and then they would bring those guns cross state lines into places like New York or wherever that have very tight gun laws. But these mass shootings are happening everywhere. They're happening in Florida. Like, I was just in Parkland. I uploaded a couple of pictures from my Instagram. Parkland and Florida has very liberal gun laws. Just about everyone here has a gun. Gun shops everywhere. And what I could tell you is mass shooting. So, like I said, I think we just have to start those two things. I think 90% of gun owners are responsible. So, but I think 90% of people who responsibly own guns, I think they would agree to those basic things. Like, even if Vermont and Alaska had to get a license, I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's oppressive of their Second Amendment right. Just like everyone in every state has to get a driver's license. Driving is just as dangerous as owning a gun. I mean, I see an accident almost every day. Um, so, you know, look, you're never going to make everyone happy. And anytime you change something, you're going to get resistance. Um, and I still recognize that the people dying from shootings is still a small percentage of overall society, and still a very fractional amount of the people who have guns are irresponsible. And even if you instill these changes, it will not eliminate evil. But I think those are basic common sense things that can just move this thing a little forward, and then just go from there. Gilbert, I'm sorry, brother. I just got it. What am I saying? Oh, here it is. Gilbert, I have no real friends. That's all right. But now I realize that's by choice. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Looking for like-minded people, yet open-minded people with logical convo. Well, Gilbert, you've been a blessing here, man. It's been almost a year now since you've been sharing. And what I can find is you're a very intelligent man with a lot to offer. And we're blessed to have you here, brother. I can tell you that. Jim, good points. But common sense isn't common anymore. Well, Jim, that's also fair. That's a great comment. And that's true. But I want to remain hopeful. I don't want to get cynical. So I believe, just like when I get tempted into getting cynical, I look back at America 100 years ago, when women didn't have the rights to vote, when women didn't have the right to vote, when minorities didn't have the right to vote, and when society was totally skewed, and we didn't have a level of infrastructure. And so what I am hopeful of when I try to get cynical is another 100 years from now, I think society is going to be even greater. So that's the context of history. It's just frustrating because we look at, from a human nature, we want to see progress right away. And that could be tough. But if we take a step back and we look at the context of history, we do evolve and we do change. It's just not as fast as we want. Snow Dog. Hello, Sam. What's up, brother? Good to see you, Snow Dog. World citizen. Because of no guns. Enough statistics about Australia, so I don't want to comment. And again, I don't believe that taking away everyone's guns is the answer. I don't believe giving everyone a gun is the answer. I believe it's balance. And that's what we have to debate. King Genius, good to see you. Polk County in the house. Luke. All right, my brother. We'll have a good night. Thank you. Thank you also. Good advice. I appreciate positive energy. Right back to you. Yes, love and respect. World citizen. Mass shooting in Parkland was only because of the magical no gun zone sign at the school. I don't want to laugh at it. So the kid automatically knew he was safe to shoot it up. Well, no, I don't believe that. Look, there were armed police officers that stood down. Okay. So giving everyone a gun isn't the answer. Okay. He had mental issues. It was documented. Okay. It was documented that people had called the authorities several times complaining that he was a threat, and people in authority dropped the ball. It was a series of recurring red flags that were ignored and enabled by an outdated gun law and bureaucracy of not enforcing the law and not giving adequate attention to someone who was a huge red flag. And that's pretty much, and irresponsibility. Irresponsibility by his caretakers too. Look, he was flagged many times for having issues and for being a cannon. I don't know why he was able to legally have guns. It was a disgrace, in my opinion. James, what's up, Sam? What's up? Free to be me. Universal basic income, help fight evils. Oh, yeah. Well, look, most crime and most acts of desperation are done because you feel you have no hope for the future. And when you have no hope for the future, you'll do dramatic things. Sometimes it may be as drastic as gun violence. Sometimes it may be as petty as breaking into someone's car at the beach because you want extra money. But will basic income solve all the answers of society? No, just like gun laws won't. But I believe it's a step forward. Okay, I believe that the middle class continues to shrink. Corporations and the wealthy continue to grow. 1% of society owns 40% of the wealth. I believe a basic level of income, which has been tested in certain areas of the world, I believe will provide a level of a safety net, especially too for senior citizens. The average senior citizen getting $1,400 a month in Social Security, that's a disgrace. When you're at a point in life where you're your most vulnerable, disgrace. In the richest country in the world, disgrace. So I believe we can do better than what we're doing. It won't make it perfect, but it'll make it better. Genius, laughing, good, palm tree, thumbs up, thank you, thank you. Glad to see you, Sam. Thank you. Also to you. Thank you for all the good comments. I appreciate you. I was number 10 to click the like button. I appreciate that. Thank you for everyone who gives the thumbs up to the video. I appreciate you taking the effort to do that and share the video. James, Sam, mental health is just as important as physical. I 100% agree. Definitely. Good job, James. Tony, what's up, Tony? AI. I grew up in Florida. I remember you telling me that. I got a 22, okay, when I was 12. 22 is a small gun, for those who don't know. Then moved to Canada, where you can only get a handgun when you can only get a handgun illegally. Parents here don't have to worry about their kid being murdered in class. And you got free healthcare. That's the win. Canadians got it right in some ways. Zakia. Well, not free healthcare. You pay taxes. But look, we blow our taxes on a lot of other things. Might as well ensure basic healthcare. Zakia. Alaska doesn't require a permit or license. Good information. Because it is felt that it is constitutionary right. Well, yeah, it was a constitutionary right for Colin Kaepernick to exercise his right to protest the government in the United States. Look what that got him. Got him banned. It got Trump elected. You know what got Trump elected? It wasn't the Russians. It was the fact that people got pissed that someone knelt during the national anthem. So ask the same people in Alaska that think it's their Second Amendment right to bear arms, but ask them if they agree with Colin Kaepernick's First Amendment right to protest the government for any grievance. Okay, and that no religion shall be instituted by the government and no religion shall be prohibited. And the freedom of the press and the freedom of speech is the guaranteed First Amendment right. So ask the same people that protect the Second Amendment right if they believe in the First. And you'll see what they say, hypocrites. Zakia, that's their reasoning. Yeah, ass backwards, in my opinion. Glenn O, good night, y'all. See you tomorrow. Good job. Zakia, not saying I agree. Well, I just broke it down for you. I understand what they say. Believe me, I talked to them before. AI. Unfortunately, your kid surviving high school without being murdered is no longer protected by the Constitution. No, I understand. Look, again, 90% of society in America is safe. 90% plus of the people going to school will never be shot. So, again, I want to put it in context. We see it on the news media when there's a mass shooting, but there's 325 million people in the United States of America. So, I don't want to minimize any life. But if you put it in percentage-wise, less than 1% of society gets killed in a mass shooting. So, again, you don't want to marginalize, but that's the reality. Tony, man, you're so positive. How do you stay so positive? Well, sometimes I'm sad. I make videos when I'm sad. And that's why I try to do both. I try to give you all of who I am, and I'm human. So sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I feel inspired. What makes me feel the most inspired and what keeps me going forward is taking care of myself, mind, body, and soul, having healthy relationships, eating healthy food. And I just try to be honest and sincere. And even when I'm sad, at least and I try to stay thankful. That keeps me pushing forward. Gilbert, guns are not the problem. People are. We are quick to want to govern others, but not ourselves. Control begins with yourself. Yeah, but why are people then obese? Why are people, a lot of people can't control themselves. So you have to have certain, you have to have certain regulation to control human desire, because human desire overreaches. So and that's why I'm not against, like, when Bloomberg in New York, you're from New York, so you'll understand this. Bloomberg used to be the mayor of New York City. So he tried to institute a ban on supersized drinks because they were too sugary, and he basically got crucified for it. But obesity was a huge problem, especially at that time in America. And it's like, what's the difference between you can't have a 44-ounce cup, you only can have a 32-ounce. And if you want to, you can buy two 32-ounce cups. But it was a way to try to curb society's methods. Healthcare is a big thing. So, it's the same thing like with a gun law, right? I mean, like, do you really need a supersized drink? And if you really need it, then just buy two 32 ounces. Do you really need an AR, 59 with a high capacity military magazine? I mean, if you really need extra protection, buy two rifles and two handguns. It's like, at some point you have to have common sense, and you can't be legalistic in interpreting freedom and regulation. But society, it's tough for society to do that. But I understand. Free to be me. In worlds of PE, fight the power. Yep. Sam for president. Well, I'll let you down too. But I do believe I would add some value, but I would want to be mainly down in Florida. I'll take over Mar-a-Lago and I'll just sleep in the parking lot. That's what I'll do. All right. Guys, girls, everyone, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone coming in tonight. Thank you again for all the love, for all the comments. Data Geek, thank you again for your generosity. Thank you for everyone who gives a video a thumbs up. Thank you for everyone who shares it. And I hope in your journey in life that you treat others how you want to be treated, and that you treat yourself good enough to do things alone. You treat yourself good enough to go to the movies by yourself, to go on a road trip by yourself, because as you take care of yourself better, you're a better asset to society, and you'll be in a healthier space. And that's positive. All right, guys, I got to call it night. I see you though. AI, love, peace. Have a good night.